The last time I saw the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, I was about 7 or 8 years old. So seeing it again 25 years later during its 55th anniversary screening was truly a sweet, delightful, and nostalgic treat. As many of you know, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory follows five children competing for what they believe to be a lifetime supply of chocolate, only to discover that the real prize is much greater than they could ever imagine. So why do people still love this movie after all these years? I think it's a perfect combination of the magic, humor, mystery, and the heart that Gene Wilder brings wonderfully to the character that is Willy Wonka. If I had to pick one thing that has aged the best, I'd say it's the cinematography. Oh my goodness, the Technicolor. I don't understand why studios don't really use that look anymore, but whenever I watch older films, I feel like my generation has been robbed of something special. The closest modern depiction that I know of with Technicolor has to be the horror film Pearl. If I had to choose one thing that hasn't aged well, it would have to be the Oompa Loompas. Looking back at it as an adult, it's impossible to ignore the controversy surrounding how they were originally depicted in the books and how they ended up being portrayed on screen and how it affected both black audiences and the little people community. That's something I've never thought about as a kid because they were actually my favorite characters, but learning more about their history definitely changed the way I look at them. Outside of Gene Wilder, my standout performance goes to Jack Albertson as Grandpa Joe. He made me laugh the most, especially considering he supposedly had been bedridden for 20 years, but suddenly found the strength to get up once a lifetime supply of chocolate was on the line. My favorite scene has to be the chocolate room. It always has been. As a kid, I was amazed how everything was supposed to be edible. I remember Wonka drinking the tea from an edible cup and then eating the cup afterwards. The entire sequence had me felt just so magical. If I had to choose one central theme, it'd be integrity. Do you do what's right even when nobody's watching? Charlie isn't perfect. He ignores Wonka's warning about the fizzy lifting drinks, but he redeems himself by returning the everlasting gobstopper just as Wonka thought he would. So does Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory still work in 2026? For those of us who grew up with it, I think revisiting it during an anniversary screening like this is absolutely worth it. I'd had to acknowledge some aspects of the film that don't sit well with me as an adult, but also respected as a product of its time. Overall, I'm giving Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory a retro review of 3.5 out of 5. That wraps up my review of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. If you grew up with this movie like I did, let me know what still stands out to you all these years later. This weekend, I will be checking out One Night Only and The Ice Cream Man. Until then, peace.